Hi guys, it's Baldrick here. In today's episode, I'd like to talk about picking a gaming monitor for your gaming setup, and this applies for consoles and PCs, but first I think we should cover the consoles. Uh, for consoles, you wouldn't really want to be looking for a monitor unless you're looking for I get if you've got a really small desk space, then I would recommend getting a standard 60 Hz 1080p monitor, as it allows you to watch movies on it and play your games. The reason I wouldn't go above 1080p or above 60 Hz is because most games on my Xbox One only run, or the PS4, run at a maximum of about 60 frames per second, so you're not really getting any more performance if you had a 144 Hz monitor. Obviously it'll look a teeny bit smoother, but it's really not worth it if you're only going for a console. Alright, and now let's go on to the PCs. So if you're getting a PC, I'd recommend, if you've got a lowish end PC, I would definitely go for a cheaper, or not a cheaperish monitor, but a medium priced monitor, because you don't really want to skip on your monitor, because that's what you're actually watching the game on, or watching your movie on, and it all comes down to how nice it looks on your monitor. And obviously you need the graphics power to support it, but if you've got it, then just get a good monitor as well. I would, me, I would recommend a good monitor over a good graphics card any day, just because even if you can't support the high resolutions, you just play at 1080p, and then later on you upgrade your graphics card and it can fully play at that resolution. Alright, in this day and age, I wouldn't really recommend going for 720p unless you're really on a budget. Don't go for those resolutions, but there is a reason why you might want to go for those resolutions. If you've got an older computer and you really just can't upgrade it and you want a cheapy monitor because you've got some CRT monitor, definitely look into a 720p monitor. But if you've got a alright PC, just go for 1080p all the way. I know a few years ago 1080p wasn't really as standard it is now, so if you've got a 720p and you're struggling to get those frames per second, you don't really need to upgrade, to be honest. But if you're starting off, get 1080p. Alright, so now here comes a battle of 144 Hz versus 60 Hz. Obviously all the resolutions I said would run at 59 to 60 Hz. It doesn't really matter at all because it's the same. And you can get these specific monitors called gaming monitors, and I've got one of them. They run at 144 Hz with 3 to 1 millisecond response time, so that's very fast. It's grey to grey. I'm not really a monitor expert, but I know that that's very fast. If you're going to be gaming on a monitor, make sure it's got at least at most 6 milliseconds grey to grey response time, because you don't really want to go more than that, and that applies to TVs as well. And some TVs also just have a gaming mode that lowers it. But anyway, so you want to make sure it's at most 6, so you don't want anything above 6. Maybe 7's the maximum. I wouldn't ever go above 7. But you want to be aiming around 4 to 5. That's a good area to aim for if you're getting a 1080p 60 Hz monitor. But if you're getting a 144 Hz monitor, you want a low response rate as well, because then you're not really making use of your high frames per second or hertz. Now, as I was sort of starting to introduce it, 1440p 60 Hz versus 1080p 144 Hz. So, to be honest, I've played on both. I've obviously played less on 144p. No, sorry, 1440p. I always forget. It's just all these numbers. So I've played on both, and I can definitely say 1080p 144 Hz definitely feels better. But the reason I got 1080p 144 Hz is because I don't really have a graphics power to play at 1440p, because I've got a 660 Ti, and let's face it, it's not really worth it. So I decided to get a new monitor, so then I can upgrade my graphics card in the future and get awesome frames per second. I'm hitting about 90 to 100 now, and soon I'll be hitting a good 144 when I get a graphics card upgrade. So I guess it's all up to personal opinion. I would recommend 1080p 144 Hz, but if you're rocking out a beast dual 780 setup, definitely go for the 144 Hz 60 144 1440p 60 Hz than getting a 1080p 144 Hz. Then there's also 4K. That really depends on your setup. Don't get 4K unless you've got like three 780s or three 770s, because you're not really going to get a very good gaming experience. So now what it comes down to is monitor overclocking. I personally have done this myself, but I haven't really gotten any amazing results. For most, I managed to overclock my monitor. Refresh rate was 15 Hz, and that's not really even worth it. And that was on one of my old Samsung monitors. But anyway, the reason I mentioned this is because there's this Korean brand of monitor that says you can overclock it to 120 Hz, and I think that sounds awesome. It's got a 4 millisecond response time, and I think if it's legitimate, definitely look at that. I don't recommend it at all because I've never used it, but if it gets good reviews, I'd definitely go for it. Anyway guys, that's my opinion on choosing a monitor for gaming. See you later, have a nice day.